about you? Talk about Thursday.
Kenny, you got to cook dinner Friday. How about that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure, right. I'll make it a 6-course meal for all of us too, okay? As I look at this game on Thursday night, it's a short week on the road. That's not usually a recipe for success. But again, for me, it's validation week. You want to prove that you are a playoff team, deserve to be in the conversation for the AFC North. And I was just looking at the standings right now. 5-2-1 Cincinnati, 6-3 Pittsburgh, 5-3 Cleveland, 5-4 Baltimore. So right now they're in it, right?
Yeah.
You go on the road and you win. You make a statement, not only in the division but throughout the NFL, that they are on the right track. They are a team to be reckoned with. Having said that, it was not good to see that Hill went for 155 yards running the ball yesterday for Cincinnati, and the Browns' biggest weakness is their run game. So, A, stop the run. B, find a way to run. Did you guys help me? I forgot the center's name on. Is it McDonald? Right?
Yes. Old McDonald. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see him get dump trucked
Yes.
yesterday on the one play? He got knocked back about 5. I mean,
Geno
guys,
Atkins, Kenny.
Alex
Geno
Mack
Atkins.
may be the most valuable player on this football team from what we've seen in the running game or lack thereof since he went down with an injury. And Tim's right. If they can't run the football against the Baltimores, the Cincinnatis, the Indianapolises, they're not going to be a playoff team this year. So they've got to find a way to run it and stop it.
All right, Kenny Rhoda joining us from the KennyRhoda.com studios. Kenny, what do you got coming up on your radio show? Tell everyone where they can hear you.
Yeah, WHBC, WHBC.com, and the TuneIn radio app. You can find WHBC on there Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. We're getting, like I said, for me, it's validation week for the Buckeyes and for the Browns. For the Buckeyes, this is what their season is all about. Everybody pointed to this game when the schedule came out. Michigan State at Michigan State, Saturday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. This will determine who plays in the Big Ten championship game. Is J.T. Barrett, all that in the bag of chips, good enough to lead them to the Big Ten championship game? Are the Buckeyes a legitimate playoff contender? We'll find out. And for the Browns, again, Thursday night, road game, make a statement that we're going to find out a lot about this team. They can validate who they are with a win on Thursday night. We'll be talking all about that. And, of course, the Cavaliers guys, I mean, they got their first win. It's out of the way. Now they can just play basketball. They're out on the left coast. We'll be talking a lot about that. And, of course, in Stark County High School football, we've got 5 teams in Stark County out there, so we'll talk about them as well.
All right, thank you very much, Kenny. We'll be listening on the radio and, of course, always on KennyRhoda.com.
Take care, Road man.
All right, let's go to the phone lines because I know Chris Fedor has been waiting for a while. Hey, Chris, how are you from Cleveland.com and also 92.3 The Fan? Just tell us a little bit about what you thought of yesterday's game.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I feel the same way that I did last week. Remember when we had the conversation last week? You feel great about the win. You look at the record and you see 5-3, but you don't necessarily feel great about the performance. So when you talk about just the game overall, the first thing that you start with is, hey, they won the game, they're 5-3. But if you start to break down the performance and how they got to that win yesterday, 22-17, it's a little bit a different story.
Absolutely a different story, but it's winning, Chris. And I get it, how people feel, and I know the teams that they're beating aren't great teams. But it's I mean, would we like it the other way around? I mean, because we've sat here for years and watched them lose to the Tampa Bays and teams like that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think it's the difference this year is that they're learning how to win these games, and they are pulling them off. They're allowing the other team to make the boneheaded decisions late or the boneheaded plays late. It's the other team that's getting their field goal kick blocked, or it's the other team that's in a 3-deep coverage and lets Taylor Gabriel get 4 yards behind him when that simply can't happen. It's more or less, okay, Tampa Bay is 1-7 for a reason, and a lot of those reasons showed up yesterday, including the fact that they had it 2nd down and 1. They were driving against the Browns, and they went pass, 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 when Bobby Rainey easily could have just picked up 1 yard, got him a fresh set of downs, and then they could have restarted their offense. But you see why Tampa Bay is 1-7, and you see why the Browns are 5-3, because the Browns didn't make those plays that Tampa Bay was making that were head scratching, to be honest with you.
Going forward, Chris, what do the Browns have to do to beat the Bengals? And how big is this game for is this a bigger game for the Browns than the Bengals?
Well, that's the thing that I was going to say, Dre and Andy. You know, in the last couple of years, as we've watched Ohio State, and I know it's a different sport and it's a different setup, but as we've watched Ohio State, we've watched them pile up wins. But I think somewhere in the back of our mind, we always felt, Well, this team's not as good as their record is indicating because they haven't played anybody, because they haven't beaten anybody. And then when they play against the better teams, they're not as good. So I look at this game against Cincinnati, and I think there's a way that the Browns can win it because I don't think Cincinnati is the dominant team in the AFC. It's not like they're playing against the Denver Broncos or the New England Patriots here. So I think it's a lot of what Kenny said and what Tim said. The Browns are going to have to get that running game going because Brian Hoyer, I think, in the NFL as a quarterback is so reliant on that running game. And if the Browns can run the ball against Cincinnati and keep Cincinnati's defense off balance the way that the Browns kept the Steelers off balance a couple of weeks ago in the Browns' best performance, then I think they can beat Cincinnati. But the bottom line is, in the last 2 weeks against Oakland and Tampa Bay, I haven't seen enough to make me confident that the Browns can go to Cincinnati and they can hang with Cincinnati.
All right, last question for you, Chris. 5-3. Did you expect them to be 5-3 at this point?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No. But I think when we look back at it, I don't think I saw the Browns having the easiest schedule in the NFL. That's the other thing.
We thought the NFC South was going to be tough. Remember when we first saw this schedule?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we thought, hey, maybe Tampa Bay. They got a new coach.
Right.
They've got a new GM. They've got
New Orleans, right?
That New Orleans, right? And then it hasn't turned out to be one of the better divisions.
All right, hey, Chris, thank you very much. I'll read you all the time at Cleveland.com.
Late night work for you this week, buddy. Take care of it. Do a good job.
Knock 'em dead.
You got it, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. We appreciate it, too. All right, I want to go down to Tampa real quick. Tom Corn, who's with our affiliate WFTS in Tampa. Nice enough to have, I was on their show last week. Tom, what are your thoughts on yesterday's game? Because there are a lot of Browns fans that are thanking Lovie Smith for some of the play calling at the end of the game that helped the Browns win.
Yeah, I think there's a case for that. I think when you have a 3rd and 1, you might want to think about running the football instead. Or actually, they had a 2nd and 1, and they threw the ball 3 times, and never got the first down. There's a lot of problems with this football team. It goes well beyond play calling. It goes with in my belief, that some of these players are not playing the way they should for Lovie Smith and for their teammates. I think that there's a lack of talent on this football team. They are truly what their record indicates, and there's no smoke and mirrors about it. These guys just don't know how to win, and they don't know how to start fast. And if you don't have any of those combinations, it's going to be a long season. Believe me, we're feeling it now.
Well, Tom, I'll take your lack of talent at wide receiver, though.
Well,
right now.
I want to say something, Tom. I don't think Vincent Jackson's playing up to Vincent Jackson's capabilities. He dropped about 3 balls yesterday. Now, Evans is going to be a superstar. But I think they should have traded Jackson last week. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Tom.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispel it totally, but Vincent's hurt. He doesn't even practice during the week. Okay, he's hurt, and I don't like his mannerisms when he drops a football. There's a big difference between him being disgusted dropping a football and Mike Evans yesterday.
Right.
Mike might be a little bit younger. He might be a rookie, but when he dropped the football, he was pissed. Vincent Jackson, I don't think could have cared less.
I agree.
That's my thought.
Hey, Tom, what's your evaluation of the Browns as we move forward here in Cleveland? And it's really uncharted waters for us to even talk about having a 5-3 team at this point in the season. What's your evaluation of the Browns?
Well, what you got is you got a quarterback that can win. He's 8-3 as a starter. Hoyer is. I think you ought to just hang on to that guy, and put Johnny in the cage, will you? I mean, all these people in Cleveland wanted Johnny Manziel. Did you see Johnny on the sideline yesterday?
He didn't want to be. He didn't want to play in that.
Where the hell was he? He wasn't even anywhere near Hoyer.
Nope.
He was never in the game. If he had to go in the game, I think he would have been brain dead. So I think you all ought to just back off on Manziel and forget about him this year because Hoyer's your guy, and if he goes, I think so goes your football team because you can't run the football. You got a pretty good defense. At least you showed that yesterday. But frankly, you got to think about who you play too.
Yeah.
This 5-3 might be a little deceptive, but hell, you're winning. And just keep winning and go beat Cincinnati on Thursday. Good luck to you.
Hey,
Thanks,
Tom, thank you so much. Good luck with your show, too, on Wednesdays. And for any Tampa Bay fans that might be here, tell us a little bit about your show that airs.
Well, I appreciate it. At least you're getting callers over here. They don't give a damn anymore.
Take care, Tom. We appreciate it.
All right. See you later.
No. Thanks.
Hey, that's the one thing we got going for us. As much as we've gone back and forth, I know we got to get
People
to
care.
People care. And I mean, and I've been paying attention, but we've been going back and forth on Twitter about the whole Johnny question and everything else. Great to get a perspective from somewhere else that's not within it.
All right, well, let's keep doing that. Let's go to Baltimore now. We're joined by
Is Garrett even awake?
Garrett Downing from Ravens.com.
They were playing at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot
You
of
got
coffee
less sleep
today
than we
to
did
keep
last
me
night.
charged up through this day.
Are you awake?
Barely. I need a coffee IV or something today, man, to keep me charged up through this day because it's going to be a long haul.
All right, what's going on with the Ravens, and what happened last night?
I mean, really, the game turned on a turnover. I'm not sure if you guys watched the game, but the Ravens started strong in the first quarter. They had an early lead. Looked like they might add to it. Turned the ball over the next two possessions. Then boom, all of a sudden the Steelers got rolling, and they never stopped. The Ravens have a banged-up secondary, so that's a big reason why that Ben Roethlisberger was able to throw for 340 yards and 6 touchdowns. But this is just the Ravens and Steelers, both of these teams, you look at them from week to week and you kind of wonder who the team really is. Like the Steelers, is this the same team that lost to Tampa Bay at home? I mean, that's Tampa's one win, right? That came to the Steelers at home. The Ravens have had games where they blew out Tampa. They blew out the Atlanta Falcons. Those aren't the best teams, but they still just dominated those games. So who are these teams? What do you really expect out of them? And so yesterday was a case that was the worst Ravens-Steelers loss that I can remember. And this is one that I think a lot of people are going to be pretty sour about here for a little while.
Garrett, in Cleveland, where we're complaining that Alex Mack is injured and has shut down the Browns' running game. In Baltimore, it's Jimmy Smith. Is he that important to that Baltimore defense? Since he's gone down, that Ravens defense has been completely the opposite of what it was leading up to that moment.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith was – I agree, Andre. I think coming into the year, people thought that this is a chance for Jimmy Smith to kind of assert himself as a Pro Bowl potential kind of a cornerback, and that's what he really did through the first half of the year, through the first 7 games. And then he got hurt, and things changed like that. And this defense is not the same with him out there. Yesterday, you saw these guys running around just trying to keep their head above water against Ben. I mean, they had people playing yesterday. One of the starting cornerbacks is a guy, Dominique Franks, who was out of football a month ago. He's starting against Ben Roethlisberger on Sunday Night Football. So the Ravens are trying to patch things together in the back end of their defense. Jimmy Smith was kind of the glue that held things together back there. He's gone, and you look at the schedule for the Ravens, and you worry about these teams that have good quarterbacks. Okay, they still got to play the Saints. That's not going to be a good one. Luckily, the Ravens, they play Phillip Rivers here in a couple of weeks. Luckily, the Ravens, they play at home this week against Tennessee. That's the game where they should get back on track. But,
Homecoming game.
It's interesting right now.
Hey, last thought, just your thoughts on Browns Bengals for Thursday night.
It's going to be good. It's going to be really. This is a chance really for both teams. I say who are the real Ravens and Steelers. I think you got to ask the same thing about the Browns and the Bengals because we think here that the Bengals are pretty good. They beat us twice, and I think they have a really, really talented team. I mean, I think just talent on their roster, they have one of the more talented teams in the NFL. But the Browns, hey, they're 5-3. They're right there in the mix, and the Bengals have shown this year the kind of the propensity to give up some plays and fall behind, and I don't think they're invincible. So I think it's going to be a close game. Those Thursday night football games are so unpredictable. They're so sloppy a lot of times. I think that's a game that the Browns could certainly pick one up there against the Bengals, especially on Thursday night football.
All right, Garrett, I know you had a long night last night. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ravens.com. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one, buddy.
All righty,
Yeah.
we're down to the nitty-gritty.
Should we congratulate him?
For what?
I think he's engaged now to his beautiful bra.
He got engaged?
I'm pretty sure there's pictures. He got engaged
When
like
did that
Saturday,
happen?
didn't he?
Like 2 months ago.
2 months ago, but I know they were.
We're right on top of that
Yeah,
one.
well, they took engagement pictures. I saw him sad. I felt bad. I meant to say something. They took engagement pictures Saturday, I think. I saw them on Instagram.
Time to run.
Yeah. He's going to be in the doghouse.
All right, let's
Good
go
segue.
doghouse. You've never been there before. All right, who's in your doghouse?
I think Nick McDonald. Is that his name?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to
How
put
can that guy be in the doghouse? He was out for a year. I know. Next man up. Is that what
Boy,
you're
he's the
saying?
highest paid defensive tackle.
There's not a lot for me to complain about. Nick had a bad game. Look, he was getting dump trucked multiple times. I don't care. I know it's going to sound mean. Do you think the Bengals are sitting around this morning going, oh, he missed last year. Let's not attack him.
But I'm not asking to say that, but it's fine. If you want to be in the doghouse.
I'm just keeping it real. He's got to play better for them to win. Get out of the doghouse, Nick. It's the NFL. The check's nice, or you can come work with us.
My doghouse this morning is people that just can't accept the fact that this team is 5-3. Relax, enjoy it, and if you can't accept it, go back in the doghouse. And if you like being miserable, you deserve to live in a doghouse. What do you got?
My doghouse is Ray Farmer. Go sign somebody on special teams, please, that can catch the football.
I know a guy. I know a guy that knows a guy.
Who's that guy?
His name is Josh Cribbs.
Really?
He can do it.
Can you seriously, from looking at the game, can you
Why you put Ray
seriously?
Farmer in a dog pound though?
Can you seriously look at the punt team and think that fair catching the ball is acceptable?
They're 5-3. I'm not saying you're wrong, but
Did they get the ball back and let the offense have a chance to do it? Look, we have no yards. None.
Where was like
Kickoff returns, punt returns. There's no. You're not helping out this offense, and the offense needs that little bit of help.
And to play off what Eric's saying, to be a legitimate playoff team, they need every yard they can get. It's time to fix them.
All right, final thoughts. Go. You go first.
What a week. I'm so excited. I said this last night on our show. This is what this season is really all about. You know, we can look at all these other games, but the Browns have a chance to show the whole country the movements they've made. It's time to be a real player in the AFC North. I look forward to the college game this week, Ohio State in the same way. I'm like Rhoda, and all the high school playoff games. This is going to be a fabulous week to be here in Cleveland.
I agree with all that, and then the Cavaliers on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm so pumped for the Cavaliers. Friday night was so great, and I know I brought this up at the end of the show last night. Friday night was not a good win, a great win for this team.
It had a
to
playoff
beat Chicago. I know, it was game 2, and it may as well have been game 6 of the NBA, and Eastern Conference Finals.
Did you forget? I forgot. Do you forget how great it is to have the best player on the court? It's fun when LeBron is going well. It's fun to watch and be around him again.
Yeah, but you know what? It wasn't the best player on the court Friday that did it. It was Tristan Thompson, who was able to come up with those rebounds late. That's what I think makes this Cavaliers team so special. You want a final thought?
Just what a week it's going to be for Ohio sports in general. You got the Browns, Bengals on Thursday. You got the start of high school playoffs on Friday, and then continuing into Saturday. Ohio State, Michigan State on Saturday. It's going to be a great.
Sunday off. We're going to need it.
Yeah, we're going to need it. One more thing. And Friday we'll be here. We're going to do a dog
Friday
on Friday.
Right.
If you need to get ready or prep for Michigan State versus Ohio State, Connor Cook is the quarterback for Michigan State. Look up his sister on Instagram. Her name is Jackie Cook. That's all you need to know.
And with that, we say goodbye. Especially for a local, man. I don't do that. You got locals here.
You got to look it up. Trust me.
We're good. We're out of here. See you later. Thanks for watching.